Luxembourg with my wife. My parents are still based out of India, and my parents are obsessed with eating. Like in breakfast, they talk about lunch. During lunch, they talk about snacks. And during snacks, they talk about dinner. And after dinner, they kind of wonder, why do we feel so stuffed? Right? Like normal people get orgasms during sex, an act of reproduction. My parents get orgasm during an act of digestion. My dad, after eating 25 meals, sits in a big black chair and goes like, Hari Om. Like for somebody who's not from India, so this is basically an act of digestion with the dice of mythology. But that's how they get orgasms, right? And then they use very sophisticated terms to describe ridiculous things, right? They don't call fart, they call it wind. And I've grown up learning these words, and they've ingrained in my system so much that in one of the English exams, there's a question on, why don't you write a sentence on wind? And they were my friends who wrote sophisticated things, right? Wind is a perceptible form of air moving from one direction to another. And you know what I wrote? My mother passed wind yesterday and she was very, very happy. So that's the obsession I'm talking about. So I've been in Luxembourg for 2 years. It's been going great, right? And I know a fair amount of French. And when I say a fair amount of French, I know one word. Beautiful word. It's called s'il vous plaît. You can use this word in any situation. All you need to do is do a little voice modulation and it works. If it's a simple situation, I was in a grocery store, I wanted to pick up some capsicum. There's a French lady right ahead of me. I wanted to make her just get a little side, and I was like, s'il vous plaît. And she got a side, right? Like it worked perfectly. And it works in very difficult situations. I was in a bus, I hit the stop button, the bus driver won't stop, and I was like, s'il vous plaît. And then he stopped the bus, right? And it works absolutely perfectly. But where it gets tricky is when some French people use stuff beyond s'il vous plaît. I went to Orange, there was some issue with my phone connection, and then the person is like, hello, monsieur. I was like, hello, monsieur too. But then I've somehow figured out my way in Luxembourg. Luxembourg is a great country, but its technology sucks, right? If the theme of world technology is artificial intelligence, the theme of Luxembourg technology is real dumbness. Like, think about it, right? Like, who has letterboxes? Who sends letters? We get letters for taxes, we get letters for bills, we get letters for marketing. And a couple of days ago, I lost my shit when we got a letter from the government of Luxembourg requesting their citizens to save paper. And as a responsible citizen, I sent them a letter back saying, sure, will do. But other than that, Luxembourg is great, right? Like, it's super central. You get to travel to a lot of places. So the other day, we went to this beautiful place called Amsterdam. People who've been to Amsterdam, give me a shout out. People who smoke pot there, give me a shout out. Guys, I was an undercover cop. It's boring stand-up comedy. So we went to Amsterdam, and then we asked a friend about some recommendations, right? Where should we go in Amsterdam? So one of my friends, Anirudh, who's based out of India, he said, why don't you go to Van Gogh? It's like, have you been there? He's like, yes. So apparently he's a top sales performer in his company, and his company decided to take a bunch of these top sales performers to Amsterdam and to Van Gogh, right? Imagine there are 100 top sales performers going into Van Gogh Museum, and the guide is like, this guy is a great artist, but out of the 800 paintings that he made, he only sold one. Now that's some motivation for 100 sales people getting into a Van Gogh museum, right? And then this guy took things very seriously. He never understood metaphor, right? He had an argument with his wife, and his wife was like, you busy painting, you don't pay any attention to me. You got to lend me your ears. The guy chopped his ears and gave it to his girlfriend. Think about it, right? Like he doesn't understand sarcasm very, very well. But anyway, we did that Van Gogh thing, and the next thing we do is we go to a coffee shop, right? Like the much sought after coffee shop in Amsterdam. Now, for an Indian, it is a cultural shock to see two men in tuxedos trying to sell you pot. Like how we buy pot in India is very shady, let me tell you. So, and this is a Bombay story, so some folks from Bombay are going to relate. So there used to be a guy called Rane Bhaiya. He was a full-time taxi driver, part-time peddler, right? So if you want to buy stuff, he's going to call us downstairs. So I go down, and then Rane Bhaiya is going to make us sit in the cab, right? He's going to take a tour around the apartment, and then he's going to hand over the stuff to us. And then we are supposed to get out of the cab and then pay him for stuff. Oh. To give him an illusion that we are paying him for a taxi ride and not the pot. That is creativity. He deserves a museum much more than Van Gogh. And this guy's stuff sells. He's selling 800 grams of the 800 grams that he planned to sell, right? So, I thought I'll not get swayed with all of the options that I get in this coffee shop, right? I'm not going to overdo it. I'm going to stick to the plan. I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to smoke pot. All I'm going to have is little piece of hash brownie, right? So I stuck to the plan. I drank 2 beers, smoked a couple of joints, and ate 3 brownies. Yeah. So it was going all fine until 30 minutes when we went to a pasta shop. And I swear to God, that got in my head, and I almost thought I'm going to die. I looked at the menu, and arrabbiata sounded like some monster who's going to come out and chop my head. And then I look at my wife, and my wife is right here. She's the most frugal person ever, right? So I was like, I'm dying, I need to step out. She's like, fuck you, right? Like, I paid 15 euros for this pasta, I'm going to eat this. So, we somehow figured out, we ate the pasta, we tried to step out. It's like, yeah, let's take a cab. I'm almost going to die. She's like, fuck it. We're not taking the cab, we have a daily pass. We're going to take a metro. Now, if you've taken an Amsterdam metro, it's a shady thing. If you look at an Amsterdam metro, between 2 compartments, there's a ticket seller who's going to sit right in the middle. And he has a very shady kind of a desk wherein he sells tickets. It almost sounds like DJ, right? And I'm high as fuck. I go to the person, I was like, Bhaiya, kesariya bajana zara. So I actually asked him to play a song, right? And I thought like language is the problem. I was like, Bhaiya, can you please play Kesariya by Arijit Singh featuring Ranbir Kapoor and Alia Bhatt, s'il vous plaît? And then he's like, get the fuck out of here. We, somehow managed to reach the hotel. And then after a hectic day, we did a sexual activity. We called for a bowl of dal makhani, some naans, ate, and did hari. Thank you, that's my time. You will be on.